I noticed that when my husband was walking long distances, he really seemed to have a slight limp, as though, something wasn't firing properly. And he said the same thing. He had still been playing basketball at the time. And he said, I think I might have, maybe pulled a muscle because it seems like my calf isn't firing. And I was a little concerned about that. And I was like, that's so odd. Normally we could walk hours and hours and hours. And at some point, I noticed he was really, sort of slowing down a bit. So when we got back from Washington, a good friend of mine, who's a physician who works at the Rehab Institute here in Chicago, I called her up and I said, will you just do me a favor and just check Brian out and see what you think? And she said, sure, have him come in. So he went in and she gave him a clinical exam. And after the exam, she called me and she said, clinically, he seems really strong. There's something going on. I think what we need to do is an EMG just to kind of figure out where the weakness is coming from. And so we did that. And a couple of days later, she called me and she said, I don't want to prognosticate, but I'm concerned that there is something, in fact, going on with Brian, but I need to refer you out to a neurologist and at Northwestern. And at the time, she didn't tell me this, but the neurologist that she actually referred us to was a neurologist at the ALS clinic here at Northwestern. So we made an appointment and we repeated the EMG. And again, clinically was very strong. And the doctor also agreed, you seem really strong. And this has been going on for a year and a half, but I do want to repeat the EMG. I want to see what's going on. And so repeated the EMG, and then those results came back that it was confirmed ALS. It's sort of an exclusion process. They rule out everything else before they even test for ALS. So they tested my husband, obviously, for Lyme disease, for other neurodegenerative diseases, MS. They tested him for, so basically they tested him for everything until they finally tested him for ALS, which was the EMG. And that was the definitive test that gave us the diagnosis. And he had numerous EMGs. He had a spinal tap. We did do some genetic testing. At the end, the EMG is what gives the clinicians the final diagnosis of ALS.